Welcome to another edition of Android Tap, Android App Reviews. I'm your host, Antonio Wells, and we have two of the hottest tablets of this holiday season. People will be asking, which is the best, the iPad mini or the Google Nexus 7? So we're going to do a head-to-head review. Stay tuned because we'll be giving away these devices. All you have to do is like us on Facebook, so let's get started. Let's look at the pros and cons of each. The pros for the iPad mini includes the iOS ecosystem is plentiful. It has solid build quality and design. It's smaller, lighter, and easier to hold in one hand than the normal iPad, yet it's wider than many 7-inch Android tablets. You get super long battery life. You almost don't have to worry about charging it. It features the smaller Lightning port, and it's more affordable than the larger iPad. Though the cons are, it's expensive in comparison to Android tablets of the same class. My friends, there's no Retina display. The lower resolution is noticeable in comparison to Android tablets. Apple chose to include the slower A5 processor, which pales in comparison to the Nexus 7 Tegra 3 processor. Its gift and curse includes the Lightning port, which forces you to change from the 30-pin connector. The pros for the Nexus 7 include that it's very affordable. It features the latest and greatest software from Google that include multiple account support, gesture typing, Google Now, voice typing, notifications on steroids, plus more. By far, it's the best designed Android tablet, and it's a perfect fit in one hand. The ecosystem is no slouch here with content. You get apps, games, music, movies, TV shows, books, magazines, and you get a pure Google experience with these devices. The screen resolution is far better than the iPad mini. Plus, it's faster with the Tegra 3 processor. It's much easier to personalize the look and feel, customize it, or even hack it. Some of the downsides include that it may be second class, but only to Apple. This is minor, yet it doesn't include a rear-facing camera, which excludes the new feature enhancements that we get in Jelly Bean. It's slightly thicker and slightly heavier than the iPad mini. Let's talk about the design. The iPad mini is a well-designed tablet, and it feels that way in the hand. My gripes with it are the thin bezel on the sides, and it's wider than most tablets of its class, with the slightly larger 7.9-inch display. Though Apple says it offers 35% more display, yet the resolution is far lower than that of Android tablets. If you've experienced the latest iPad or the later iPhones, you'll definitely notice the screen quality degradation. The iPad mini feels a little too wide to grip in one hand, and the backing feels a little uninvitingly cold in comparison to the Nexus 7 soft back. There are two cameras, a front-facing 1.2 megapixel for 720p HD FaceTime video calling, with rear-facing 5 megapixel iSight 1080p Full HD camera. It comes in two colors, white and silver or black and slate. The latter gives off a cool blue sheen on the back in the right lighting. It's far thinner than the Nexus 7 and weighs slightly less. This is the first thing you'll notice when you first pick it up. For a while there, 7-inch Android tablets had not captured the sexy and thin design into the introduction of the Nexus 7. It only comes in one color, black on black. The white back version that we have is a limited edition from Google I/O 2012. Speaking of the back, the grippy faux leather rear makes cuddling up with it or holding with one hand very comfortable. The screen is far better than the iPad mini, which is an HD IPS display with 1280 by 800 resolution at 216 ppi. Sadly, the Nexus 7 does not have a rear shooter. With the new camera improvements in Android 4.2, that being Jelly Bean, this flagship Google device won't get the goodies as there is no camera app. Luckily, you can download an app to get the missing Nexus 7 camera app back. On the front, you have a front-facing 1.2 megapixel camera for HD calling or video chats. Let's talk about the ecosystem. In my opinion, Apple's robust ecosystem could be the sheer deciding factor of why you would choose the Mini over the 7. I'm not referring to the number of apps and games, nor the fact that Apple states that there are more than 275,000 iPad-specific apps, millions of songs, books and magazines, and exclusive movie and television show content deals. What I'm referring to is the fact that if you've invested in the ecosystem with any other Apple device, you can consume them here as well. And this without plugging into a computer or iTunes, now with the inclusion of iCloud. The same goes for Google's ecosystem. They too have nearly 1 million apps and games, millions of songs, TV shows, movies, books, magazines, and if you've purchased content there, you'll know that you can share them among many devices without wires via their cloud. For now at least, Google Play is only second class to Apple, but the bar is extremely high. Let's talk about the features. The iPad's little brother also has iOS 6, which brings more features to Siri, like gathering sports and movie information. Plus, you can book restaurants with it. Finally, there's natural Facebook integration to share things. You can store credit cards, coupons, and even boarding passes in the Passbook app. FaceTime is mostly available over cellular, and you can pick up where you left off in Safari browser via iCloud tabs, and save content for offline reading. Lastly, you can capture panorama photos. Google already released the best version of Android this year. Then, they've updated it to Android 4.2 Jelly Bean. This introduces multiple user accounts on one tablet device. Think of it like a Windows computer, where each family member can have their own setting with personalized backgrounds, widgets, and apps to their taste. Additionally, there are improvements to the camera app to allow one-handed switching between settings by tapping the screen anywhere. For example, to turn auto flash on or off, or to switch to the front-facing camera, it's a simple tap and slide away. Google expanded on the panorama shots with augmented reality. Now you can create 360-degree photos. This can be very useful in real estate. Lastly, Google introduced gesture typing. It's just like Swipe, where you can slide to letters to spell words for faster typing. These improvements are atop the intelligent inclusion of Google Now, a superior voice search assistant that learns your habits over time. It can even recommend flight travel, nearby restaurants and events, get the weather, has near flawless voice recognition. You can type using your voice, and of course, search the web. Let's talk about storage. The iPad mini comes in 16, 32, and 64 gigabyte models, and either as a Wi-Fi only or Wi-Fi plus cellular to be available on AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint. As you may know, there are no external storage expansion options on Apple products, so choose wisely. The Nexus 7 comes in 16 and 32 gigabyte models, and either as Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi plus cellular on AT&T's HSPA Plus mobile internet network. Unfortunately, and unlike the trend in nearly all other Android devices, there is no external storage expansion option, so choose wisely. Let's talk about the performance. I know why they did it, and hey, if it's not broke, then don't fix it. Yet, it's sad to see how Apple will milk their customers in the next few quarters by releasing the all-new and magical iPad mini 2 with Retina display and faster A5X processor. To be honest, high-end games and tasks never lag for me in my experience. iOS performed buttery smooth. However, based on Geekbench processor performance tests, the Nexus 7 is way faster. Now, if you're talking about battery longevity, and even if you don't have plentiful lightning ports lying around as you may have 30-pin dock connectors, you don't have to worry about charging this thing. It's like the Energizer Bunny. The Nexus 7's quad-core Tegra 3 processor proves that it outpaces the Mini. Yet, I get the super long battery life out of the 7 as I do the Mini. In my experience, and using both moderately to heavy, I would say an average of 68 hours on the Nexus 7 and 9 to 11 hours on the iPad mini. Let's talk about the price. Would you rather pay $300 or $500? Pricing is what truly hurt the Mini. Yes, you're getting a quality-built product, and you pay a little more premium for Apple's Vogue. However, compared to other 7-inch tablets, starting at $329 is pretty steep. By the way, if you, like me, will purchase Apple's Care Protection, a smart cover, plus taxes, you're looking at about $500 for the cheapest option. Google and Asus nailed it with the enticing pricing of starting $199. Even if you add on shipping, a case, and taxes, you'll be looking at around $300 for the cheapest option. So what's our conclusion? Which is the best, the iPad mini versus the Nexus 7? This one is a tough call, although I believe the deciding factor will be price and ecosystem. Meaning, if you've invested in the ecosystem, you may sway that way. But if you're brand new to tablets and looking for which one to choose between the two this holiday season, I believe the cheaper price of the Nexus 7 will win you over. In all, you get virtually the same experiential offerings to interact, to learn, to discover, to play, to surf, to share and connect with these devices with more real estate than a smartphone. Though for 2 lucky people, you won't have to buy your iPad mini or Nexus 7, as you can enter to win our contest and get it free. Be sure to head to our Facebook page, hit the like button, and continue the entire process in order to enter to win the devices. Don't forget that you can better your chances of winning if you comment on the article in the link description below or comment on YouTube. See the instructions below on how. This has been Antonio Wells giving you a concise look at the iPad mini versus the Nexus 7. And of course, I'm signing out. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. If you like this, hit the thumbs up button and hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+.